Thank you, dear Professor Willets. Dear colleagues, dear friends, if I may, this is really a great honor for me to be here today with you and to participate in this conference and to be hosted here by one of the most prestigious universities and faculties in the region of Central Europe. Also, my congratulations for your excellent organization of this event. As you have heard, the topic of my presentation is actually the topic of my article, scientific article, because I have presented my chapter on our previous conference in Budapest. This is the short overview of the presentation, and the key question that I try to scrutinize is whether religion can be a magic ticket for asylum seekers. This term magic ticket was not inspired by me, unfortunately, but by one Anglican bishop amid the discussions in the UK regarding this religious asylum that was caused, actually, this discussion by chemical attack in London a few weeks ago, 10 days ago, if I remember well. Can religion be used as a ticket for granting asylum status or to getting refugee status, actually, or abused, actually, or misused by asylum seekers for getting a refugee status in countries? And this is a short historic overview of intersections between religion and migration. Nora gave excellent historical introduction for my topic, so I will go straight to my topic. However, migration and religion were intersected in throughout the history many times. Just in the 20th century, you can see, I think, one of those agreements here, the exchange of populations between Turkey and Greece. That was the hugest exchange of populations in our region here, in the region, when I say in our region, I mean in the broad sense of this word, was based actually on religious affiliation of their populations. So there were cases, very interesting cases, of Turkish-speaking Christians who were forced to move to Greece, and other cases of Greek-speaking Muslims who were forced to move to Turkey or Turkey because of this agreement that was based on religious, actually, grounds and not on ethnic affiliation of those populations. What should I say before we enter into the main problematic of this issue? Freedom of religion and belief, as it has been enshrined by international law, is protected. It has actually two different dimensions, internal and external. You can see it, forum internum, forum externum. The first one are those internal beliefs that all of us have, or worldviews, and they are beyond any external impact, or they can be under impact, but they cannot be changed, or any external coercion, if you want. So the other one is forum externum, or if you have any beliefs but you cannot manifest them, if you cannot exercise your beliefs, your religion, whatever it is, then it has no any significance. So religion and any other worldview has this potential to be exercised, to be manifested in the space outside of the human being. So the question here is how this differentiation between forum internum and forum externum applies when it comes to the asylum seekers, and their attempts to get refugee status. In other words, is it enough just to say, I am Christian, I will be persecuted if I go back to Iran or to Afghanistan, therefore I should be recognized as a refugee in your country? Or there must be some other proofs of this religious affiliation. Last summer I had an interesting discussion with a colleague from the United States. She was for years a member of asylum authorities in the United States, dealing with Chinese refugees, Chinese migrants. They usually come to the United States and they have even schemes, organized schemes. They undergo something like education, how to apply for asylum, and they pay that it is really expensive to pay that training, let's say, in China, so they know what should they say and what should they do in order to get refugee status in the United States. So one of they usually use actually the fact that they are Christians in China. We know that some Christians in China really are persecuted. So I asked her, how do you assess whether they are really Christians and they really were persecuted when it's enough just to come and to say, okay, I'm Christian. You can not check what is my real internal belief. And she answered me that actually there is a way to assess something, this statement, but because they enjoy freedom of religion as well, like any other human being, so it is forbidden to ask about their very, very internal beliefs, but they can ask about, for example, how many pages have the prayer book, how often they go to the church, how many doors are in the church. So to check whether they really are members of the persecuted community or not. But this is all external moment. So this is all external manifestation of religion. The question was raised actually about internal dimension. So it is whether it is enough just to have this belief without any manifestation, or in some other cases whether it is enough if internal aspect is just protected in the country of origin. So, for example, if you can be a Christian in Iran without manifesting your religion, then you should go back to Iran or to Afghanistan. Those cases actually have to do with the religious persecution and what religious persecution actually is. As Nora mentioned, the Article 1 of Geneva Convention establishes that one of the conditions for acquiring refugee status is the existence of well-founded fear of being subjected to persecution for various reasons, including religion. But there are some requirements. Not every limitation of religious freedom constitutes persecution, of course. There are justifiable limitations that all of us actually have experienced of our religious manifestation of our religion. Also, the well-known qualification directive of EU that has been also mentioned here sets up other requirements such as causal link between individual religion and the act of persecution. Then the persecution must be sufficiently serious by its nature or repetition. Then we have another requirement that during the assessment of whether an applicant has a well-founded fear, it is irrelevant if the applicant does not possess a religious characteristic that attracts persecution. What is significant is that the persecutor attributes this characteristic to the applicant. This is really important for those who have been converted sur place, who have been converted in Europe, when they came to European countries. Also, it is not necessary for the applicant to have experienced persecution by himself. Also important for those who have later changed their religious belief. As you can see, the international law that regulates religious persecution does not differentiate between internal and external beliefs. It's just states in this case enjoy, let's say, wide discretion, or they can actually asylum authorities have discretion to decide. So the European courts, supranational European courts, have dealt with a few of those cases. The first one is Bundesrepublik Deutschland versus YNZ. The case involved two Pakistani citizens, nationals, who sought refugee status in Germany because they faced religious persecution owing to their membership in the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Ahmadis are a sort of Muslims which are not recognized by, let's say, regular Muslims as Muslims. They were connected with British colonial system in South Asia, so they were, let's say, friendly with the British, and nowadays they are facing persecution because of this history probably, and because regular Muslims do not perceive them as part of Islam. So the Pakistani penal code stipulates that Ahmadis can be punished with up to 3 years of imprisonment or a fine if they describe their faith as Islam, preach or propagate their faith, or invite others to accept it. Here, German courts that had set the standard of the religious subsistence level, this is the internal forum internum, asked or wanted to assess whether these core or essential aspects of religious freedom must be violated in order to be granted asylum. So the Court of Justice of European Union emphasized that the key factor is not whether public religious practices constitute the core of religion or faith, but the significance that they hold for the applicant and for the maintenance of his religious identity. So the Court of Justice of European Union concluded that interference with the external expression of freedom of religion may amount to an act of persecution. The same verdict was reached by European Court of Human Rights, but through different reasoning, and I really like those cases that Grand Chamber and the Chamber have completely different opinions. And this is one of those cases, FG versus Sweden. It is an Iranian applicant applied for asylum based on fear of persecution to his political activities and his conversion to Christianity. The Chamber ruled that the execution of the expulsion order against the applicant would not entail a violation of Article 2 or 3 of the European Convention because Iranian authorities were not aware of his conversion that took place after his arrival in Sweden. And because he kept his faith as a private matter. So the idea here is no one knows that he became Christian, so he can return to Iran and keep his religion as a private matter. The Grand Chamber, from the other side, determined that the external manifestation of religion is a vital component of religious freedom, and the court ruled that the competent authorities should not expect applicants to refrain from their religious practices to avoid persecution in their country of origin, and that the possibility of such avoidance is generally irrelevant for assessing whether their fear is well-founded or not. Here you can see one Anglican priest one asylum seeker, and one taxi. Probably you are wondering what is connection between. There is one connection, that is religion and asylum. From the left side, this is the Abdul Shokor Ezedi. He is suspected to have thrown an alkali substance over several people in London, as I mentioned a few days ago. He applied for asylum 2 times and he was rejected by Home Office. And then he converted to Christianity. He applied again and his asylum application was approved and he could remain in the UK. This priest here said that he has converted about 500 migrants until now, and about 80% of them have never appeared again in the church. So there is a huge discussion now in the UK about the whole asylum system, but also about the abuse of religion, actually abuse of the church for granting international protection to asylum seekers. From the other side, this is another story. This is a taxi car in Germany, in Essen. This taxi driver is he's expecting to pay 1,000 euros fine because he has this this sticker here on his car. It says, "I'm the way, the truth, and I don't know. I don't speak German, but those who speak can check it." Why? Because the authorities, the local authorities of Essen, believe that this is, as they call it, Christian advertisement, and it is not allowed. So, and if you want to know, his name is Jalil Mashali, and he is from Iran. So this is a man who will pay 1,000 euros just to keep this expression of his convictions on his car. I brought those 2 examples just to try to present how difficult those issues actually are. So if we accept that internal dimension is the only that is necessary for the asylum, then actually every application will be approved. You cannot check it. From the other side, if you deny the asylum on the grounds that they can return to their country and hide that they are Christians or cover their religious affiliation, then all applications will be rejected. So what we need here actually, it should be comprehensive analysis of both dimensions of religious freedom and of personal circumstances in each case. Thank you very much for your attention.